This TV program is intended for educational and awareness purposes only and solely as a self-help tool for your own use. The information provided in or through this TV program is in no way intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment provided by your own medical provider or mental health provider. You agree and acknowledge that Joy Unleashed International TV hosts and guests are not providing medical advice, mental health advice, or religious advice in any way. Always seek the advice of your own medical provider and or mental health provider regarding any questions or concerns that you might have to pertain to your own mental health. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy. Located at 4334 Kingston Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Come to Action Honda. Whether bibili ka o hindi, it's always a pleasure to talk sa kababayan. Mabuhay!
Great car deals in action. Your Filipino friends ready at your service. Test drive at Action Honda today.
Narito na ang pinakabasarap na Afghanistan food sa Toronto, ang naan and kebab. Tunay na masarap. Sariwa ang sangkap at mabilis pang makakarating sa iyo. Dahil ngayon, mayroon ng 6 na lokasyon ang naan and kebab sa Toronto, pati na sa Mississauga. Kaya ano pang inaantay nyo? Kung gusto mo ng bagong ihaw na tandoori kebab, shish kebab, shana masala at veggie options, bisitahin mo na ang kanilang website, naankebab.ca, at tumawag para umorder for pickup or delivery. Naan and kebab from the heart of Afghanistan. Feel right at home. From the author of the book Joy Unveiled, Unraveling the Key to Happiness, comes a radio show that talks about mental health awareness and balanced lifestyle that complements your goals and desires. Welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Heart, and You. Your Ate Ruth will simply From the author of the book Joy Unveiled, Unraveling the Key to Happiness, comes a radio show that talks about mental health awareness and balanced lifestyle that complements your goals and desires. Welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Heart, and You. Your Ate Ruth will simply provide the tools you need. Healthy Mind, Healthy Heart, and You.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is February 27. Oh my, time really flies so fast. Welcome to Joy Unleashed, Healthy Hearts and Healthy Minds, February 27 episode. And here we go. We have our birthday shout-outs. We have a lot of birthday celebrants this week. And this one goes to, first of all, Dr. Elizabeth Mercado of Tennessee, Janelle McRae Van Dyke, Mitchell Luna, Regina Neal, Bong Mercado of Zambales, Epi Acuzar, Andy Alano, Bernadette Villaseran Reyes, Maria Bernadette Pingoy Villamor, Leah Luz, Amber Chaplin, Harsel Solomon Bugas, Cecile Villanueva, the two Moloch brothers, Derek and Donald, Ethan Paule. Happy 87th birthday, Leonora Nureng Okapan. And of course, happy 101st birthday of Mississauga's former Mayor Hazel Macalion. Magandang sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga. I am so very well pleased that you are tuning in tonight in our episode dated February 27, post-Valentine's celebration. So happy anniversary na rin to Eileen and Tim Targa, Renee and Vegas Cipriano on their 47th year. And here's to all of you. This Did I Do with no other than Miss Alex Pangman.
And my name is Alex Pangman. These are the sweethearts. And it's going to be very special. Ruth got a song for all the February celebrants, birthdays, and the followers of Joy Unleashed, Healthy Hearts and Minds at MCPN TV. May your day be full of love. Here's a song for you from Ruth. It's called Did I Do? do I? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Well, do I want you? Oh my, do I, honey? Indeed I do. Do I need you? Oh my, do I, honey? Indeed I do. Oh, I'm glad that I'm the one that found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. And do I love you? Oh my, do I, honey? Indeed I do. Do I want you? Oh my, do I, honey? Indeed I do. And do I need you? Oh my, do I, honey? Oh, honey, indeed I do. Say I'm glad that I'm the one that found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I, honey? Indeed I do. Indeed I do. Oh, honey. Indeed I do. Happy birthday, happy Valentine's Day from Ruth.
Did I do? That was such a treat from Canada's sweetheart of swing. And of course, once Juno nominated Miss Alex Pangman and her band. Thank you, Alex. Now, COVID-19 pandemic has forced many of us to change the way we did and went about our daily lives. Some of us may have experienced a loss of someone due to COVID-19 or its association. Coping with the loss of someone or something you love is quite devastating. Each grief experience is unique to us as individuals. We have our own perspective, beliefs, and feelings that impact the length of the grieving process as well. And we each have a personal triggers that can bring the grief back to the surface. One of life's biggest challenges and is the most intense cause of grief, anger, and sadness. But any loss can cause grief, and that includes a divorce, a relationship breakup, loss of health, loss of a job, loss of financial stability and even food security, a miscarriage, a retirement, a- even the death of a pet, a loss of a cherished dream or future dream, a loved one's serious illness, loss of friendship and friends, especially during this pandemic, the loss of safety after a trauma, selling the family home, and a sense of personal freedom. There's even the loss of ceremony traditions such as graduations, funerals, weddings, the traditional markers for milestones, which have been canceled or postponed or have shifted online, leaving many of us with unresolved feelings. So, even subtle losses in life can trigger a sense of grief. For example, you might grieve after moving away from home, graduating from college, or changing jobs. And for some, these losses may build up and lead to feelings of grief. With us tonight, audience and friends, is a very special guest, very near and dear to my heart, as he was once my co host in our first season of Joy Unleashed Matter with I Love TV. Mr. Constantine Cabarios is a registered social worker, an active member of the Ontario Association of Social Workers, and currently a practicing psychotherapist here in Toronto. And before we stream him in, let's watch this video about a family tragedy. Bonded in Love, the story of the Kimbao family.
I was crying when I came into this world. I held on longer to training wheels than the other boys and girls. I kept on falling, you kept on pushing, telling me I could fly. You had me each step of the way. No matter the season, you willingly, quietly, patiently gave, and I'm grateful for a mother's love. High school dances, screaming matches, heartbreak. I was clever, I knew better.
So that tube, after I guess the trait, that tube won't be there, and it's through where her neck is, yeah?
Yeah. He kept on pushing, telling me I could fly.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
had me each step of the way. No matter the season, you willingly, quietly, patiently gave, and I'm grateful for a mother's love. And when you grow free, I will never fail to push you along till you fly. I'll have you each step of the way. No matter the season, I willingly, quietly, patiently stay, 'cause I'm grateful for a mother's love. when I came into this world.
Thank you.
Narito na ang pinakabasarap na Afghanistan food sa Toronto, ang naan and kebab. Tunay na masarap. Sariwa ang sangkap at mabilis pang makakarating sa'yo. Dahil ngayon, mayroon ng 6 na lokasyon ang naan and kebab sa Toronto, pati na sa Mississauga. Kaya ano pang inaantay nyo? Kung gusto mo ng bagong ihaw na tandoori kebab, shish kebab, shana masala at veggie options, bisitahin mo na ang kanilang website, naankebab.ca, at tumawag para umorder for pickup or delivery. Naan and kebab from the heart of Afghanistan. Feel right at home. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy. Located at 4334 Kingston Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Come to Action Honda. Whether bibili ka o hindi, it's always a pleasure to talk sa kababayan. Mabuhay!
Great car deals in action. Your Filipino friends ready at your service. Test drive at Action Honda today.
Good news for Tagalog-speaking job hunters with good English. Ideal Talents Staffing Solutions is in need of general labor, assembly and packing, shipper, receiver, forklift operator, office plant cleaners, and warehouse cleaners. The said jobs is available in the following areas: Milton, Mississauga, Brampton, Bolton, Barrie, Vaughan, and Scarborough. Get paid weekly. No resume required, no experience required, and it will be just a quick telephone interview. Interested applicants may visit the website idealtalents.ca or call 647-467-5356 or 647-460-5508. Ideal Talents Staffing Solutions. Apply today. Work tomorrow. Can you believe it? Parang kailan lang at 1 taon na naman ang lumipas. And we are about to celebrate the 104th week of Truthful Talk on Tapatan. Opo, 2nd year since it was conceptualized. 2nd year since the show come to life. Tapatan, Piloso at Canton, dalawa silang nagtatagisan, nagpapalitan ng kuro-kuro at 2 taon ding naghatid ng mga impormasyong kailangan niyong malaman. 2 taon din kinapanayam ang mga importanteng tao na may sadyang kabatiran. Dahil dyan, kami maghahatid ng mga espesyal na regalo para sa inyo as a token of our gratitude for your continued patronage for the past 2 years. Kaya, salamat kabayan. At kung kayo'y nasiyahan, tara na kami samahan. Ito ang Tapatan. We keep asking, what's trending? What's viral? Here, we ask, what's fresh in the entertainment scene? The latest innovations in science and inventions in the medical field. What's fresh on the planet? Next big thing, NBT.
Hello, welcome, Constantine.
Hi,
How was
Rachel.
your day today?
It was good. It was productive, and I'm happy to be here with you.
How's Sunday in Toronto?
Sunday in Toronto is, I think it snowed, but flurries, but otherwise it's nice and sunny and crisp and cold.
So I am so thrilled that you actually joined me today. You know, I have been actually hunting you. My gosh, where is my partner? As you know very well, ladies and gentlemen, Constantine was my partner, my co-host, and our last year's episode of Join Unleashed You Matter. And having him once again, you know, it's like a breath air of spring, you know. I'm ready for spring. It's already March, the following weeks. Anyhow, yes, Constantine. So our topic today is grief. And, a lot has been happening lately. Like I myself lost 5 in a matter of year. And I know
Wow.
some of my friends also have lost loved ones through COVID or its association. And it's really hard. And so I thought I'd bring you in to discuss more about grief, because it's different. But before we go there, though, please tell me again about yourself and what you do.
So I'm a registered social worker, and I work as a counselor, and I have a private practice on the side. I've been doing this for 8+ years. But before that, I was in marketing. So this is a second career for me, and I haven't looked back. So I like helping people get to where they want to go. So that's what in a nutshell, that's what I do. I'm a psychotherapist and social worker.
Can you remind me again, though, what from being in marketing to psychotherapist, what made you venture that field? That's a totally different field.
Totally different field. So I always tell colleagues and friends, in marketing, I was getting people to buy things using psychology. And in therapy or social work, I'm now helping people get to where they want to go. So it's kind of influencing and helping, but I was in the wrong field. I was helping people buy things, and now I'm helping people get to where they want to go. So that it's a natural transition because I'm naturally inclined to help people.
So shall we say the power of persuasion and the power of mind?
Yes, that's right. Because you were working in the sector too before this, right? So
yes, I was in banking for so long. Well, after 25 years of being in the banking industry, you kind of sort of like, I want to venture to something different.
That's
and
right.
Psychology just, it comes to me, and it's something that I can relate to. We all can relate to. It's those basic things in life, especially emotions, right now when emotional intelligence is very, very important. Like last week, I spoke to someone who was really an expert about emotional intelligence. And I like that where emotions are concerned, because like when you talk about grief, it talks about a lot about emotions. It's so intense that, it's so individualized as well. So let's talk about grief. What can you tell me about anxiety and loss?
Well, so like you said earlier, that I think you said you lost maybe 5 people within a span of a year or 2 years. Some may be COVID related, some are natural, some are very sudden. And so anxiety is a feeling of not knowing where things are going to go or what to do. And so that's when we say we're anxious. Grief is a mixture of all the emotions. And if we were to analyze it, there's some psychiatrists or psychologists that study how grief works. And that would be the main one is the psychologist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And she devised a way to analyze grief with the 5 stages of grief. So some of them would involve anger, depression, denial, making a bargain, and eventually, forging a new way after that. So anxiety is interwoven in those stages. And because we don't know what kind of feeling we'll get, it's different for everybody, depending on your relationship with the person, or even a pet, or even your job. These are losses in life, and we deal with it differently.
Yeah, so we talk about that emotion and anger and sadness, because that's really very intense when we lose someone. Now, as I've said, it's very individualized. Some people, they actually don't feel anything they're numb.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they cry, they wail, they are pouring of emotion. Now, I have spoken to some of the some people I know about grief, and they said, I don't know how I feel right now because, like for me, for example, I wasn't there when it happened. It was never the same before when I can go home and touch my mom and say goodbye to her in person and be there with all the relatives, and we hug each other and we talk to each other. It's totally different. Here we just went virtual, and a lot of people out there is doing it virtually, and it's never the same. It's somehow, it doesn't really sink so much, like in denial, kind of like, it's unbelievable. It's surreal. It's like, but and somehow, is it wrong for me to feel this way, or is everybody feeling what I feel? So I really don't know what to say about the grief right now during COVID.
It's hard. Like you said, it's unreal. We see what's going on the screen when they're broadcasting. If it's the funeral arrangements or even the final goodbyes, and we're not there to physically be with the people to grieve with them. So COVID disrupted all our normal ways of coping, and so add to that the distance and the inability to comfort each other physically. So you're right, Teacher Ruth, like it's the brain will now shut off some emotions in order to protect you, so that you're able to function. So with cutting off one emotion, it will cut off the other emotions. So for example, you said you're feeling numb. So that tells me that the brain is making sure that the hurt that you may feel is sort of delayed, so that your day-to-day you'll be able to, for example, go to work or get on the phone and do the things, wash dishes, do the things that you need to do. So it is delayed grief. And for some people, even if before COVID, that's how they cope. They will delay the pain of going through the pain because they're not ready to accept it yet. And that's perfectly normal. We're all at different stages, depending on where we are in life.
So that would mean, well, how do you deal with it? Is it good to just avoid it? Because this delay thing, I know it's going on right now, and I feel that. But somehow there's some mental impact, like, the sadness is being prolonged. Like, you really can't tell. Like, you're aware of how you feel, you just can't even express it. But there's sadness inside you, and the longer that you dwell into it, it's something that you can't breathe. Sometimes you're happy, and then all of a sudden you're sad, and you think about how the times when you were together with this loved one, and it's just a mixture of feelings. So what can you say about how do you cope with this right now, you think?
So for us therapists, what we would say is to lean into the emotion. And as you said earlier about having emotional intelligence, is being able to recognize what that feeling is. And when we're grieving, it's confusing because you are getting, let's say, all the emotions in one. And so if the brain can't, or the heart can't understand what the emotion is, it will tend to numb it. For some people, they will experience sadness, and then it will send a signal back to the brain saying, you need to cry, because crying is a natural way for us to heal. And when we cry, just like the rain, it washes away some of the pain. So it actually releases some chemicals in our bodies to try to make us feel better. So that's the natural way. So if you feel sad, then you are sad. If you feel angry, then you are angry. It's what you do with it after. So, but if you try to suppress it, then it will suppress some of the other emotions too. So just like a brook or a stream, right? Just let the stream of emotions come through. and know that you're supported by other people so that you don't fall, right? But we feel like if the emotions come in, we feel like we're going to fall, and that's why we try to be strong and say, I'm not bothered, that kind of thing. So if you're a naturally strong person and that's your personality, sometimes maybe we don't want to show that because it will appear that we're weak. And so again, it will be different for everybody, right?
To the audience out there, this is such a bonus for us because we have a psychotherapist inside, and I'm so thrilled and honored to have him again. But anyhow, madugo tong subject na to. It's, grief. And I know it's February. I was also tying it into, it's love, lost, heartbreaks, heartaches, because sometimes it's breaking. Grief just doesn't mean that someone passed away. Grief is also losing a loved one, and some of them
or losing
divorce.
your job.
Yeah.
Losing your job, losing your pet, losing your ability to see people. It's all rooted in that sense of loss.
Yeah, even sometimes loss of freedom. You see, we lost all the freedom we have pre-pandemic when we used to party a lot. We used to see people a lot. Our social life was so it was so good. We feel great with the people, we're seeing people, But right now, well, thankfully, it's going to ease up soon. But in the meantime, we're also adjusting again because for 2 years we've been locked up. But that feeling of being isolated, of grieving because we lost our friends in the meantime, that was a lot to take. So, well, tell me about, I'm curious about general anxiety and grief. Can you tell me a little bit of difference, what that is, or symptoms?
Yeah. So as I said, grieving is a mixture of all those emotions, right? Anger, sadness, confusion, and anxiety is woven in because anxiety wants to look for answers. And when we don't have answers, it adds on top of those emotions. So it's like, what do I do? Why am I angry? Just like what you were saying, am I supposed to feel this way? Should I call somebody? Should I take some days off? So it's the anxiety produces these questions because it's under stress. So what I recommend to clients is to give it an answer, right? When questions come in, give it some kind of an answer and just say, for example, what am I going to do? So for example, if we lost someone, how am I going to contact them? And so the natural feeling would be, I don't feel like going online and finding out how to contact them. So that tells me that maybe you're exhausted. So you need to listen to what your body and your mind is telling you. So if you need to rest, you need to rest. And these questions will keep coming. That's the anxiety. And will keep coming until you give it an answer. So even if the answer is, you know what, I'm too tired right now, I'm going to rest. And then we have to be okay with that decision. That rests the mind. So this is all part of your healing and knowing, in accepting that this is what I have right now and there's nothing more that I can do at the moment, like that.
So there's really no timeline, because what I'm worried is some people go in sadness and they're depressed they're sad for quite some time. Yes. And when you're sad for 6 months, doesn't that turn into some kind of a depression? That's a question that a lot of people, don't know the answer because they're just sad and feeling so sad. Prolonged sadness, that changes the chemicals in our body,
Correct. Yeah.
So tell me about it. Yeah.
So for us, therapists and people who work in counseling, what we monitor is their ability to function on a day-to-day. So you usually when you're grieving, your employer will give you a couple days or a week, or you use your vacation to take some time off to do whatever you need to do. Let's say you don't come back and you decide to call in sick again, or you go on short-term disability. So that indicates to us that maybe it's chronic depression now. And so when it becomes chronic depression or major depression, then we advise that you check in with your doctor, and they may recommend that you see a therapist to help you through the grief. So you will find strategies to reframe your situation and maybe have a space to talk about the loved one that you lost, or even the divorce that you went through, or losing your house, anything that is a sudden change. So, for example, the people in Ukraine, they're in danger of losing their country, and that is a collective grief. But right now, the one thing on their mind is to defend. They don't have time to grieve a potential loss yet, right? So they're fighting to make sure that that country remains intact. So it depends on your situation, and so, but know the fact that you will have some supports out there, whether it's your family or friends, and then in the absence of that would be professional help.
Yes. And, talk about that. I have this, we just got off the pandemic, like COVID, we're starting to have a normal life. And then this war came into play. So I was thinking, oh my God, imagine what is this doing to our mind right now that's going on. Children that's affected, and we, the bystanders, we are affected. We have emotions playing into in us right now. There's anger, there's fear foremost.
That's
a
right.
lot.
That's
and
right.
with everything that's happened, somehow it's too much for your brains. That's why it's nice to talk about this. It's not around. So that's why this program is for all of you, so that you know that you're not alone, and that we have feelings that we need to address, that we really need to be aware of, and it's very important. So it's mental health is it's not just the absence of diagnosis. Mental health is how you cope with your daily life, and it's part of it. Like this, what's happening right now in the world is such a concern that it evokes a lot of feelings, no? So, but talk about grief. Balik muna tayo dun sa grief.
Okay.
With the grief though, I know that when we reach out to someone, somehow I'm also concerned because the people sometimes do not know what to say.
That's right.
So what can you say about that? What are your advice?
Well, we don't advise, but we do recommend that you have to sometimes put yourself in that situation, and if sometimes the right thing to do is to just listen. Sometimes when people are grieving, they just want to be able to express themselves without any judgment, and just having someone be there for them. We don't have to say anything. Sometimes they don't want us to say anything. They don't need the advice. They don't need to say or to hear that everything is going to be okay. What they do need to hear is that I'm here for you, and we can take as long as you want to cry or be angry. I'm just going to sit here with you. And psychologically, what that means is we have the support, whether it's unspoken support or just a physical presence, knowing that I'm not alone, right? And psychologically, that means a lot to people who are grieving. That and that is very important, that we are not alone. So again, just like the people in the Ukraine who have lost some people, or people who in the last 2 years have lost someone to COVID, they know that the world understands and that they're here, right? But we're not going to tell you how to grieve. It's different for everybody. So I think that the message here is what you said. I don't know what to say. That's okay, right? That's okay. They will tell you what they need from you. Yeah.
I hope it's not about let's go get drunk. That might be because someone to get used to drinking or gambling or anything.
Or shopping.
Yes.
Maybe they want to go shopping or go to a restaurant. So that's part of coping sometimes.
Yes.
It's when you do too much of it, and then that's when you say, hey, maybe we should just stay at home. We can sit and watch TV together, like that.
Yeah. So people, oh, it's okay. Just drink it out, stuff like that. But that sometimes is not the proper way of dealing with grief or when somebody's grieving or losing someone. So there are ways of being there as a friend, and that is not harmful to the one that you're supporting. Remember, it's about empathy and not about sympathy, So anyhow, talk about men out there, it's like, is it okay to cry?
So with men, um,
There's a myth out there, that you're strong when you don't cry. And I totally don't believe that, because
yeah, it's hard. Sometimes it's our culture, sometimes it's society, how we were raised, and typically men are not allowed to cry, or they were shown, or they were raised not to cry, and that's because crying, society says, is weak.
yes.
Right? So it's going to take a while, but for some men, they will cry, in private. And because when we cry, the ugly cry, when you go, and then everything comes out, it sends a signal back to the brain saying, I'm not in control. And then when I'm not in control, that means how can I be, the primary caregiver, for example, or the one that is responsible for the family? How can I show my family that I'm weak or not capable of being strong? So these are the messages that we received over time. And again, the culture and sometimes society tells us that. We watch TV and all we see are these men that don't cry. They're almost like robots. But we're human and we have emotions. So I think we're getting there. Some men are able to express emotion in different levels. You don't have to cry, but the important thing is the ability to feel, like you said earlier, with emotional intelligence. Just recognizing, oh yeah, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel scared, like that. And then it's what you do with these emotions afterwards that matters.
I think when you're grieving, your excuse, you can cry. I'd rather have you cry than have a heart attack. You know what I mean?
That's a great point.
Yes.
That is a great point.
Because a lot of the people, they just take it in.
Yes, that's right.
Because for them it's somehow wrong, because this macho thing comes into play. But we all, as if you've said, men and women, we all have the same basic human emotions.
That's right. We're all human. We feel the same way. So the gender doesn't matter. The age doesn't matter. We all come from the same place, and we all have a heart, the same beating heart, right? So yes. Why would we be different when it comes to emotion?
Exactly. And this is so important for the men out there to know that, emotions are basic, normal. It's normal emotions.
It's very normal.
Especially when it comes to grieving, and talk it out. It's understandable. You just went through a big loss, loss of your child, loss, especially right now, it's loss of parents. As we all know, the baby boomers, their parents are getting older. They're now the 87, the 80s and the 90s, 90 years old. And like, imagine that. It's a scary thing. And the only thing that's unstoppable is death, time and death.
That's right.
Yes. So that's for me. Oh my gosh, I'm 50. I got to do something because I only have 30 years of my life left to enjoy life.
Yeah. Like that's
yes.
So when people die, we think about our own mortality, just like what you said. We realize, oh, maybe I don't have that much time to accomplish the things that I want to do. So that's another outcome of experiencing death from others, and the living. It affects us more, right? And so either it affects us to be more sad, or it encourages us to do more. But when we lose someone, we celebrate their life. But while we're celebrating their life, we think about our own lives. And sometimes that makes us feel sad. So sometimes it's hard to know if we're crying because we're missing people, or we're crying because we realize, what have I done with my life? Like that.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So it's very complicated. And that's why anxiety is there, because the cousin of anxiety is excitement. So anxiety is fear, and the cousin of that is excitement, meaning I'm excited to do things with my life, or I'm scared to start something with my life, like that.
Or I'm scared of being alone.
Correct. I'm scared of being alone, or I'm excited to meet someone new. So it's always two sides to the coin. And some of us want to flip the coin to see what's going to happen, or you can actually make a conscious decision on what you want to do with your life, or what you want to do after we lose someone.
Oh my goodness, this is such a very good topic to talk about. But anyhow, again, Priatan, we are running out of time. All the time. Wish we have so much time to talk about it, but there's always next time, and you're
There's
always
always
welcome,
Thank
as
you.
I've told you. But before we go, so tell me, how's your life, and what kind of issues you're facing when it comes to your clients? What are the prevalent, issues right now that's going on?
Yeah. So basically, people are coming to my practice again, just what we talked about. Some people have lost people. They're in between jobs. They're missing family, or they're reunited with family, and there's stress involved in that. Relationship issues, and of course, just trying to manage day to day, because COVID has disrupted our ability to enjoy life. So mental health clinicians like myself, we do our best, to support them, but sometimes we also need a break. Because we're human. So I'm hoping to, take some time off and just recharge, and hope to see you in person, Tita Ruth.
Yes, about time overdue.
Yeah.
Yes, we both were into the stage where we lost someone. So that's, we all went through it, and I know how it feels. But anyhow, I really thank you. But before I'll let you go, do you still accept new patients? Please, do you still accept new patients, ladies and gentlemen out there in Toronto, the Ontario?
Yeah, I'm on psychology today, and you can contact Tita Ruth if you need some consultation. But otherwise, yes, I will be available during the year for sure. So happy to see you, Tita Ruth, and we'll see you in person soon.
Yes, thank you, Constantine.
Okay,
and thank you, and it's an honor, and really happy that you're here. Okay, thank you again.
All
Bye
right.
for now.
Bye.
Well, in the wake of the passing away of my mom, I have developed a skill and passion of flowers. And talking about flowers, I would like to thank dolcedwelling.com for the lovely flowers and arrangement that brought so much joy to my days and my mornings. Now, here's something to think about grief. Whatever your loss, it's personal to you. So don't feel ashamed about how you feel, or believe that it's somehow only appropriate to grieve for certain things. If the person, relationship, or even an animal or situation was significant to you, it's normal to grieve the loss you're experiencing. Whatever the cause of your grief, though, there are healthy ways to cope with the pain that in time can ease your sadness and help you come to terms with your loss, find new meaning, and eventually move on with your life. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, salamat. Hanggang sa muli. This is your host of Joy Unleashed Healthy Hearts, Healthy Mind here at MCBN, Tita Ruthie Nagmamahal. And as a closing song, here's Miss Alex Pangman. Thank you.
Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? I cried the whole night long. I'll do the cooking, honey. I'll pay the rent. You know that I have done you wrong. Remember that rainy eve that I threw you out with nothing but a fine-tooth comb, a fine-tooth comb. Well, I know that I'm to blame, but honey, ain't that a shame? Bill Bailey, won't you please come on home? Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? I cried the whole night long. I gotta do the cooking, honey. I'm gonna pay the rent. You know that I've done you wrong. Remember that rainy eve that I threw you out with nothing but a fine-tooth comb. Well, I know I'm to blame. Ain't it a low-down dirty shame? Bill Bailey, won't you please come home, come home, come home, Bill Bailey. Won't you come home, Bill Bailey? Won't you come home? I cried the whole night long. I'm gonna do the cooking, honey. I'm gonna pay the rent. You know that I've done you wrong. Remember that rainy eve that I threw you out with nothing but a fine-tooth comb. Well, I know I'm to blame. Ain't it a low-down dirty shame? Bill Bailey, won't you please come home, Bill Bailey. Bailey, won't you please come on?